Hi, I'm Denise Sullivan, Nutrition and Health Education Specialist with the University of Missouri Extension in Jackson County. Today, in our cooking connection for 4-H quarantine, we're going to be making cranberry oatmeal balls. Now, with any type of recipe, anytime you're doing cooking, step one is always make sure that your work surfaces are clean and sanitized and that you've washed your hands for 20 seconds with soap and warm water. I've done all that before we started today, so let's go through our recipe. And today's recipe for our cranberry oatmeals comes to us from our colleagues at Oregon State University Extension and their Food Hero Recipes website. So for our cranberry oatmeal balls, we're going to need 1 cup of quick cooking oats, 1/3 cup of dried cranberries, 1/3 cup of chopped nuts. The recipe actually calls for almonds, but I didn't have almonds today, so I'm using chopped pecans. We'll need 1/3 cup of nut butter, and this can be any kind of nut butter that your family likes. Today, I'm choosing almond butter. And 1/4 cup of honey. So we've got all of our ingredients ready, but before we start mixing, I want to talk just a little bit about our oats. So a question that I oftentimes get is, what's the difference between quick oats and rolled oats? And basically, it's texture and size of the grain. When we think about rolled oats, that's a more whole form. And if we look at them, you can actually see that it kind of looks like a grain. The oat has been steamed and then is literally flattened or rolled between rollers. And so you can see that it looks kind of like a grain that's been flattened out. Now our quick oats are basically broken pieces of the rolled oats. And I've actually taken rolled oats and put them through my blender when I didn't have any quick oats. So that's the difference. If you like a heartier texture, you could certainly use rolled oats instead of the quick oats. But we'll go ahead with our quick oats today. So to start our recipe, we're going to start with our liquid-ish ingredients. We'll start with our nut butter, and we will add in our honey. And one thing that you may notice with honey from time to time is it might start to crystallize, and the sugars start turning more solid rather than liquid. And a simple step that you can take to fix that is to get a large cup of or container of hot water and just put your honey jar or your honey bottle into that container of hot water. A lot of times people might want to put the honey in the microwave, but I really don't recommend doing that, because that can actually start to just take away some of the advantages that honey, particularly local honey, might have for us in terms of some health benefits. Now, it's also important to remember that babies under 1 year of age, babies under 1 year of age should not ever have honey, because that can be a food safety concern. So there's our honey and our peanut butter, or our almond butter, mixed together and blended nicely. So next we're ready to add our dry ingredients. So we'll add our 1 cup of quick oats, our 1/3 cup of dried cranberries, and our 1/3 cup of chopped pecans. And now we just need to get those all fully mixed and incorporated. This is kind of a hard job. You certainly could use a mixer, but quite frankly, it's all just going to clump around the beaters. So you're almost as good off just using it by hand and using a spatula. I'm going to scrape down that off of my big spatula so that I can get that all mixed in. Another fun hint just to help you with your measuring is anytime that you might be using the same measure ingredient for something like honey, if you can spray it, your measuring cup, with some cooking spray, or even use your measuring cup that you measure your nut butter in, because the oils in there will help get that honey out. Okay, that's coming together really nicely. And like I said, you could use any kind of nut butter. Obviously, you could use any kind of chopped nut, and you could even use any kind of dried fruit. If you don't have cranberries, you could substitute raisins. Dried apricots is something also that we like. And if you wanted to add just a little bit more flavor, you could even add some spices like cinnamon or ginger to this, just to make it a little bit more personalized. All right, there is our mixture all ready to go. So now all we need to do is make them into little small balls, about 1 inch in diameter. I like to use just my cookie scoop. And this is where those clean hands are going to come in handy. And you can use your cookie scoop to measure and just then put into your container. And this is where the kids can get involved with this, and everyone can participate in making a healthy snack for the family. Now, if you get tired of making all the little balls, you could even do something like change it into a bar. And that's what I'm actually going to do. I'm just going to take my mixture there and put it right into my square pan. See, this is where recipes are kind of just that framework, and you can add some personalization to this. I want to get as much of that sweet, sticky goodness out of here that I can. And then I'm just going to smash that in, even the ones that I already made into balls. You can use the back side of your spatula, or another handy trick is a piece of wax paper or parchment paper that you can squish that out into all the corners of your pan. So that is our recipe for today, our cranberry oatmeal balls, or as I've turned it into, cranberry oatmeal bars. We're going to let this sit in the refrigerator to chill for about 30 minutes, and then I'll cut that up into bars. And the recipe says it makes 18 balls, so I'll go ahead and try to get myself to cut those up into 18 segments. So this is where some math comes in. We might have to either round up to 20 or down to 16, and then we could do the math from there. So there's your snack tip for today in today's Cooking Connection. I hope that you'll check back with us and see more of our 4-H quarantine videos that you can do with your family. Thanks, and have a great weekend.